Hey everybody, Merry Christmas! It's Allie, and welcome to our YNR chat, an audio version for Sunday, December 25th. I actually have a few spare moments before I have to go to my family shindig. We're doing a dinner event this time, so I figure it's not Sunday if I'm not talking about YNR, so why not just sit down and get out a couple of thoughts, because I just finished watching Friday's Christmas episode, and oh my goodness, you guys, it was so good. It was so good. I was not expecting it. Sometimes the holiday episodes are hokey or just kind of lame. But this was powerful. If you didn't have a chance to watch it, you need to find it, seriously, because Nikki, after being blown off by Victor yet again for probably like the 100,000th time, she gets drunk and she crashes her car, and we end up having this whole Christmas Carol storyline, which is pretty much our annual Christmas Carol storyline. I think we've done this several times before, just in recent history. I know we've done it with Victor, we've done it with Billy, where we start to take a trip as to kind of how life would look if Nikki didn't exist, or how, kind of in a way. It was more like the ghost of Christmas present in a way. Nikki takes this journey with this woman who is her guardian angel, and the guardian angel kind of shows her the good parts of her life. Nikki has been questioning whether or not she was worthy, whether or not she was worthwhile. She's feeling so low. She just feels like a drunk, and that she's let her life spiral out of control, which is true. But the guardian angel takes her around to each of her children and to the rest of her family and friends, and shows her that she is worthwhile, that she's done a lot of good, and that she's had an amazing influence on the people that love her, that she's not nothing. She is, in fact, everything. And it was everything to me. I can tell you, I wept throughout that episode. It was just so powerful. I was just buckets of tears falling out of my eyes. I actually had my hand over my mouth, dripping tears and snot all over the place. It was emotional for me. And especially because we got to see all of these wonderful flashbacks that just anytime we see a flashback on the show, it really is moving to me. We saw flashbacks of Victoria and Nick when they were children, and oh my gosh, seeing Nicholas when he first came onto the scene, which was when I started watching the show. I think I only started watching a little while before Nick, as Joshua Morrow, came back into YNR after having been aged from boarding school. And oh my gosh, was he different or what? His voice is completely different. Nick, 15 years ago, does not sound anything like Nick does today. And even Nikki's voice sounded so much different when she was younger. It was much more sweet. She's a little more harsh now. But just seeing the flashbacks of even, I wasn't watching when Victoria and Nick were born, but just seeing those scenes of Nikki with her young children were so moving. And we also saw scenes with her and Victor, which always get to me. Their first marriage, their first falling in love, and it was incredible. It in so many ways, gosh, just seeing the younger Eric Braeden and younger Melody Thomas Scott with their different hairdos and different ways about them, just it was just so incredible to me. And even seeing flashbacks of Nikki with her sister, with Casey. I don't know who the actress was who played Casey, but she seemed phenomenal to me. I wish they would bring her back. I know that they've had Casey on the show within the past 15 years since I've been watching, and I don't know if it's the same actress. This actress didn't, the original Casey, I guess, just didn't look familiar to me, but still, it was nice to see her interacting with her family and thinking about how she had such a difficult childhood, her mother being killed in a car accident and her father being abusive, and showing flashbacks of that. Oh my gosh, that's got to be one that's been hidden in the vaults. I don't think I've ever seen that flashback of her and her father ever. So that was something to behold, and just realizing that Nikki has had a difficult life as well. She started out when she came to Genoa City stripping and feeling bad about herself because of that, and it was Victor that lifted her up out of that, and that was kind of intertwined to her memories with Victor. Again, to her memories with Catherine were incredible. I have to tell you guys, as they started transitioning into the Catherine memories, the Catherine flashbacks, I yelled out at the screen. They did this shot from outside of the window with the curtain covering the window, and then all of a sudden, Jean Cooper pulls back the window curtain and reveals her amazingness, and I yelled at the screen, Yahoo! And started clapping. Jean is back. I'm so happy. The other actress was fine. She did a great job, but there's no replacement for Catherine. And so it was so good to see her. And I'm wondering though, you guys, does she look thinner to you? Maybe it's just because we've been seeing the other actress or something, but to me, she looks so tiny. She has tiny little shoulders, and she just looks really thin to me. And there was these flashbacks of Jean Cooper and Nick and Melody Thomas Scott, together in a scene, and Jean Cooper, I honestly, how is it possible that she looks better today than she did 15 years ago? Catherine looks better today than she did 15 years ago. I'm sure that has nothing to do with her facial rejuvenations that she enjoys getting. But still, she just looks great. It was so amazing to see her back coming back into the fold. And we had to bring Catherine back into the fold. We had the classic Catherine talks to God scene, which I loved. They do it several times a year, and it stops me dead in my tracks. I am sorry. When Catherine talks to God, I stop everything else I am doing, and I focus on that scene, because Catherine sits down in her chair, and she just kind of, you could tell she's having a moment where she's kind of, looking up, and she's going to start talking to God, and she just says to him, "We have a situation here." Catherine knows how to put God in his place, and I really, really like that about her. Like and respect that about her. So that was a good feeling, just knowing that she's back. And the entire story was framed with this guardian angel, and she's giving Nikki all of this positive reinforcement the entire time, showing her that her life is worthy. And in the end, Nikki just says, "Take me back. I'm ready to go back." And they come back to Genoa City into the present time, and the angel reveals that it's time for her to go. And Nikki's like, I have so many other questions for you. What's your name? And the angel just says, "You can call me Mom." And then wham, like the church doors fly open, and all of a sudden the angel's gone, and Nikki runs out into the cold saying, "Mom, Mom!" Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. And then later, she finds this handkerchief in her pocket that the angel had given her at the very beginning of the episode. And inside of it is the necklace, the guardian angel's necklace, her mother's necklace with it's like the little cross pendant. And she has that in her pocket to remind her that it was a real experience. It was not a dream. It was real. And oh, it was just so powerful. Did you guys feel that way about it? Or am I totally emotional right now? It may very well be, because I've already been through several family gatherings by now. And I'm just getting ready to go to the last one. And it's like, you look back at all of these pictures throughout the years, of your different horrible hairstyles and your different horrible outfits. And, you're thin sometimes, you're fat sometimes. It is very emotional. So seeing these flashbacks of Nikki's life really, it maybe just hit a core for me. It may just be that, but I don't know. It felt really real and really powerful. And there's a part of me that's watching the show when, especially when Nick scenes, right, when Nick first came on, because that's when I first started watching, and I just sometimes think, gosh, I just wish we could go back. And I'm looking at the Y&R scenes and thinking that, and I'm looking at my old family photos, and there's a part of me that just thinks, gosh, I wish I could go back. I mean, can you imagine to have that experience, to have somebody lead you through your past, lead you through your past life, and to, I feel like sometimes I think I'd almost give anything to be able to go back and just observe some of those scenes. They're so precious. So anyway, I'm being emotional again, but I tell you, sometimes the Christmas episodes do downright suck. But this one was just really, really powerful. And another little tidbit that came out of it was at the very end, Nikki asked the guardian angel, how can you think that I'm a good person when I've killed someone? I've killed Diane. And the guardian angel, her mother, tells her, you have a clean conscience and you know it. You didn't kill anyone. And the interesting little tidbit that she revealed was that Victor knows the truth. She wasn't able to give Nikki any more information about, who killed Diane, even though Nikki tried, but she did say Victor knows the truth. So that's another interesting point to keep in mind as we continue to speculate about the Diane Jenkins murder storyline, is that whatever it was that went down at the park on that fateful night, Victor saw it all, and according to the guardian angel, Victor knows the truth. I also totally cried early in the week. I think it was Monday's show, as Victor gets sentenced to his 25 to life, and right after the sentence is read by the judge, Nikki bursts into the courtroom begging the judge to listen to her. She's sloppy drunk, and she's just saying, please listen to me. I know the truth. Listen to what I'm saying. And then she turns around and she's begging Victor to tell the truth, saying, please tell them what really happened. I'm not worth it. This is Nikki realizing that Victor has just sacrificed his life for her, and she's begging him to tell the truth. She's not worth it. And that just broke my heart. Nikki's just really getting me right now. I'm totally into her. I'm totally into Melody Thomas Scott right now, by the way. She is a true treasure, isn't she? I mean, she really is. Her hair was so weird in so many of those flashbacks. She has had some weird hair. More than anybody, I think she's had some interesting hairstyles. But her hair is in a really, really good place right now. I'm totally into her. And I am hoping, by the way, that the whole end of, her realization that she is worth it. I'm hoping that will be a new beginning for her. I want to see Nikki strong again. I mean, she, more than anyone, has a reason to try to find out what the heck happened at the park that night. I wish she would pick herself up, and instead of, channeling that energy into drinking or self-hatred, I want her to find out what happened, and I'd love it if she was the one that helped get Victor out of jail. If she could turn around and rescue him for once. I just wish that was the way it was going to go, but her whole courtroom antic ended up landing her butt right into the drunk tank. And, she seems, I think, to think, and this is the problem with alcoholism. Merry Christmas, everyone. It's that you think that you can just take a couple of drinks, and some people can, but when you're an alcoholic, you can't just take a couple of drinks. It overcomes you, and that's where she is, and I just so wish she would just stop. Don't take the first drink, Nikki. Don't take the sip. And it's very, very difficult to watch it continue to happen, and it's very difficult for Victor to watch it happen. He's trying to do something for her. He's trying to sacrifice himself to save her so that she can be there, be out in the world, supporting the children, I'm sure, and, doing the good things. I mean, Nikki has always been the better half of Victor. She's been the heart, the conscience of Victor, and he's trying to sacrifice himself so that she can, be there for the kids and whatnot, and she's just blowing it, and it's hard for him to continue to watch her doing that. So, he is pushing her away. He's pushing everyone away. He just wants them to forget about him and go on with their lives. And I understand more now what he's doing, but there's another part of me that's like, is Victor going senile? Is he losing his freaking mind? He thinks that it's a great plan to get thrown in jail for life. And, by the way, to let Adam get elected as CEO. Where is your head, Victor? How is this what's going to help? I mean, I don't know how letting Adam get a hold of his company is going to help him at all. I do not know how that fits into the plan. The only thing we all know is true is it's a setup. He's letting Adam take over at Newman, probably to set him up for some kind of fraud to get him thrown in jail. So that's part of that plan. But, if indeed Victor knows what happened in the park on that night, then he should be, it's not going to be any of the major players. Nikki didn't do it. Victoria and Nick didn't do it. So he needs to, oh my goodness, just try to come out with the truth. It's so frustrating. And it's frustrating for Sharon as well. Sharon's trying to break through that wall. She is visiting him. I mean, I don't even know. Does this man even have to spend any time in his cell? All he does is hang out in the waiting room as everyone in GC just traipses on in to see him. That's all he does. But Sharon is trying to break through the wall, trying to get him to open up to her and let her help him. She actually is, also trying to be a friend to him. She has this, albeit understandably, possibly misguided duty, or she's feeling this misguided duty to be there for him. I just want to address this really quickly. Yes, Victor was the one that withheld evidence that had Sharon's butt thrown in jail. So Victor was the cause of Sharon's problems, and now she feels indebted to him for being the solution to them as well. Okay, that is true. There's no denying that. But there is also a very long history between Sharon and Victor that can't just be brushed under the rug. Victor has done a lot for Sharon her entire life. So the things that happened in and around that time where he warned her to stay away from Adam. Victor warned her that getting involved with Adam was going to be nothing but trouble to her, and Sharon did not heed that advice. She went right on ahead, got involved with Adam, wound up getting caught up in his whole world of craziness, and ended up getting convicted for Sky's murder. So, I feel like Sharon was not entirely innocent in that situation either. And again, Victor tried to get Sharon's mother surgery to help her be able to walk again. Victor has always, like, the relationship between Victor and Sharon has always been strong. Sharon has always gone to Victor for advice, and Victor has always had a soft spot for her. He's always tried to help her through whatever it was she wanted. Even when her marriage with Nicholas had fallen apart, Victor was still there for her, still acting as someone there to support her. And so I think that's more Sharon's motivation, for helping him. Not just what has happened in the recent past, but what's happened in the long-term past. So Sharon is coming to Victor. She brought Christmas to him. She set up a little Christmas tree and brought him a present and books and stuff for him to read while she's in there. And more than that, I think she's really trying to be an ear for him. She's trying to be someone he can talk to and open up to. And I have to kind of respect that about her. Sharon doesn't have anybody else right now. She's not dating anyone. Nick's taken her away. Noah's in New York. So she's trying to be there, trying to be a friend to someone who has always been a friend to her. Now, I realize there's some speculation out there this week about, what's the real motivation here? Is there something going on between Victor and Sharon? Because there was, this moment where Sharon is bringing Christmas to Victor and Nikki walks in, sees the whole thing. And there's just this awkward moment of like, oh, are you seeing Sharon now? Or what's up with this? But I have to tell you, I don't believe that at all. I think that if Victor and Sharon were going to hook up, I think that would have happened a long time ago when the age difference was not quite so stark. I mean, Victor was quite virile even, 10 years ago, and maybe it would have worked out. But now, no, I really don't think that the writers are taking it in that direction intentionally. And I really don't think that Sharon looks at Victor as anything other than a father figure. And I think it's the same, vice versa for Victor. I think he looks at her as a daughter, and really nothing more. I hope that that's the case. I really do. And that is how I'm interpreting it. I think that Victor and Sharon have always had a relationship that I've liked. And this week, with her bringing him Christmas and him opening it up a little bit, it reminded me of that they have always had that special connection that I think is more of a fatherly type nature. And I appreciate that. And I really hope that Sharon is able to get him to continue open up and so that we can get over this whole Eric Braeden in denim shirts and sitting in one continuous set for the months and months. I'm ready to have that over with. Let's just take a moment, just a brief moment, to talk about Deacon before I get too sidetracked. Because Deacon, meanwhile, all of this is going on with Nikki and Victor and everyone else in the Newman family, Deacon is just getting used to the Newman money. He's just feeling good. Got his new watch that he bought with Nikki's credit cards. He's wearing a suit. He doesn't have to work at the Glowworm anymore. He doesn't have to bartend. Now he's leaving big $100 tips. He thinks that he has really lucked out, and it's really quite sickening. And what's really more sickening is the fact that Deacon continues to act like he is concerned about Nikki's drinking when he's the one who keeps driving her to it. It doesn't make any sense. The only thing I can figure is that Deacon is just someone who he enjoys pushing her down so that he can be the one to rescue her. And that's a sick, kind of codependent, weird-ass relationship. And it's really quite sickening. And I did read that Sean Kanan is kind of being written off the show. So he is not going to be around for very much longer. I also read that they're planning on bringing him back in the spring. But the fact that he's making an exit soon makes me wonder if they're not going to try to pin Diane's murder on him in some way. Because we also had this brief little scene midweek where Patty is listening to the radio at Genevieve's house, and she hears that Victor Newman has been convicted for the crime of killing Diane, 25 years to life, and all of a sudden she's very upset by this, and the next thing we know, we see her knitting another little pillow that says, "Alcohol doesn't get you drunk, bartenders do." So, I mean, Patty may be the only other person that knows exactly what happened in the park that night, but there is an implication now suddenly, which again feels totally tacked on to me. Feels totally tacked on. Like the writers did not even know who was going to end up killing Diane when they were writing it. Like they're just making this up as they go along. That bothers me. Now all of a sudden, they made us think a couple weeks ago that it was going to be Patty. And now they're making us think maybe it was Deacon. Whether or not that's the truth, whether or not the writers are making it up as they're going along, that's how it feels. Because now all of a sudden I'm asking myself, wait a minute, did Deacon set this whole thing up? Is Deacon working with Diane? Is it possible that he did, his part? Did he set up Nikki with the blood and all that so that he could benefit, and use it later as blackmail for her? Is that where we're going here? Because it just seems like at this point they're trying to make us think that Deacon had a hand in it. Well, now Adam getting voted into the CEO position at Newman Enterprises is an interesting little development. I have to say I love it. I really do. I think that seeing Adam at Newman is where he belongs. He is so smug. I don't think he could get any more smug. In fact, I, in the past, did not think that he could possibly get any more smug. Yet here we are. He is just thinking that he is on top of the world during this whole board meeting where they're going to vote. And, kind of surprisingly to me, Adam had 2 board members on his side, and then Nick had Victoria and Lauren on his side, and the swing vote ended up being Tucker. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I was a little surprised that Tucker voted to have Adam be the CEO of Newman Enterprises, because a couple weeks ago, Adam had gone to Tucker and sort of under the table told him that if he would, or implied to him, that if he would vote for Adam to be the CEO, Adam would give him Beauty of Nature or somehow let him buy Beauty of Nature, which is weird because Tucker doesn't own Jabot anymore, so why is he still wanting to combine Beauty of Nature with Jabot? Or I guess I don't get it. What does Tucker have to gain exactly by Beauty of Nature? Because the whole talk for the last several months has been somebody, wants to combine Beauty of Nature with Jabot to have this world's largest cosmetics firm. So, is Tucker maybe wanting to buy it as a gift for Ashley, or what's the deal there? I don't get it. But either way, Tucker caved and he made Adam the new CEO. And Nick was not happy about it. Nick is not happy about it. He has got, Adam is just this, I don't know, it's like this thorn. It's got it's like a burr in his saddle or something. Adam just gets up under his skin. And it must be hard for Nick and Victoria to watch Adam take over this company that they have been working at for years and years and years, and to know that Victor is letting it happen. Although I think Victoria is in on whatever's happening. Victor seemed to have revealed his plan to Victoria quite a while ago. So she must know that at least it's that, Victor's support of the new CEO, be it Adam or Nick, has to do with this whole plan. But it must be difficult for both of them, and specifically Nick. Nick does not like to be one-upped. Nick has built his little life on being Victor Newman's great son. So it's difficult for him to watch Adam take over. And not only that, but Adam gets under Nick's skin in a personal level too. Nick cannot stand that Adam and Sharon have anything to do with each other. Every single time Adam and Sharon come anywhere near each other, Nick seems to pop up And then he gives Sharon crap about it. And he's using Sharon's relationship with Adam as a way to keep her in check, keep her away from him. He's basically saying, if you go anywhere near Adam, or actually he's explicitly saying that, if you go anywhere near Adam, I'm going to take Faith away from you. You're never going to see her again. So my question is, since when does Nick get to tell Sharon who she can hang around with? He doesn't have that right. Like, what business is it of his? It's not like Sharon is handing Faith over to Adam to dangle off a balcony or something. I mean, she's not letting Faith and Adam have any kind of contact, but I mean, Adam is Sharon's ex-husband, okay? They might have some reasons to talk to each other, and also it's hot, but that's beside the point. I just feel like, get over yourself, Nick. You know, you may not like Adam, but that doesn't mean that everybody else has to hate him too. And the kicker is, you know, it's like Nick just reams Sharon for having, and assumes that she's getting back together with Adam and just gives her hell about it. And the kicker is, Sharon is actually blowing Adam off. You know, Adam's constantly, every time he runs into Sharon, he's trying to drudge up old memories and give little hints about the fact that he misses her, and she's giving him the cold shoulder. Sharon is not giving in to Adam, even though they have that chemistry still. So you got to give Sharon credit for that, and Nick just doesn't see it. He just does not see it. And there was also a scene after the CEO had been named, after Adam and Sharon had this other little awkward run-in at the coffee house, there was just this brief scene of Adam going back to Newman Enterprises, sitting alone in his office in the dark on Christmas, and just probably thinking to himself, wow, I lost everything. You know, he seemingly has everything. He has this new job. He should look like he's on top of the world. Yet the one thing that really matters to him, that really ever meant anything to him, was Sharon. And he just doesn't have her. He really sacrificed his relationship with Sharon and love for business and revenge. I tell ya, he is truly his father's son. Catherine brought Anna back to town this week, and it was good to see her. It was just funny, though, that Catherine acted like it was a gift for Harmony. She was bringing her long-lost daughter into town to see her, but it was totally about Devon. Catherine, I think, is trying very, very hard to score points with Devon, and he knew that this was a shot straight to the heart. So I think, you know, I'm not saying that she has bad intentions by any means. It's just that she is so transparent. It's just quite clear what she was trying to do. But it was nice to see Anna again. It was the original actress, and she came to the church where these children were having the Christmas pageant that Harmony was working with them on. Harmony was like the choir director, and she's working with these kids and looking all cute, and then her own daughter shows up, and Devon shows up, and Anna has turned into this beautiful young woman, and she sings this song, which totally made me cry. The holidays. It's the holidays, y'all. I'm not usually quite this emotional, but her song did totally make me cry. It was very moving. She's a wonderful, wonderful musician. It was so great to see her, you know, in moderation, singing songs. It drove me nuts when they had her on before, and she was just, it was nothing but songs. But it was nice. It was really good timing. And as Anna is singing this beautiful song, Harmony is standing off to the side, watching her from the wings, and just the look on her face, it just got me right in the heart. She's feeling so guilty right now for being a bad parent. And she was at the, like in the tops of bad parents. I mean, she was a crack addict. She left the kids. She had the kids, left them, and really had not a whole lot to do with raising them. And to stand back and see that both of her children have turned out great, but in spite of her, not because of her. It's a terrible feeling, and I'm feeling it. It's, I feel like the actress really wears it right on her face. She's very upfront with it, and this was such an emotional time for her. And I was actually kind of surprised with how open Anna seemed to be toward her. I mean, you would think that Anna, of all people, would be resentful, because I seem to remember something about the time when Tyra was on the show where Anna was getting her career going and Yolanda was trying to sue for custody or something like that, and it was really kind of ruining the little girl's life. And so I just was a little bit surprised that she was as open as she was. I mean, she just looked right at Harmony as if she was a new person. I mean, we talked a lot about the name change, Yolanda versus Harmony, and she was introduced to her child as Harmony, as this new woman. And Anna could have had resentment, but instead she just looked at her and said, "You're pretty." And Harmony responded, "No, you're the pretty one." And it was just a really great moment. And I think that Anna's openness toward Harmony really started to bridge the gap for Devon as well. They had coffee at the coffee house a little bit later after the pageant, and Anna was just like, you know what? People can change, and you got to give them a chance. And just because they messed up before doesn't mean they're going to mess up now. And she just, had some really simple philosophies that she threw down on Devon. And I think that Devon really, really heard them. And I think that we're definitely going to start to see more of the development of a really nice relationship, I hope, between Harmony and Devon. Okay, well, I have saved this one for last, because I know I'm going to rant on it. This week was Chloe and Kevin's Christmas wedding, and I'm going to talk about all the good stuff first. There was a lot of good stuff, and I just want to get it out of the way before I really, really start ranting. First of all, the church decor for their Christmas wedding was so beautiful. I loved the set. The decorations were just so pretty. It was Christmas trees decked to the nines, and red and green and white and just sparkly iridescence. Especially the shining Christmas ornament balls, like the bulbs, were everywhere, and they had these candy cane striped ribbons all over the place, and there were twinkling white lights, and it was so beautiful. They had, the bouquets were gorgeous, just the colors and the textures. I don't think I've ever seen a Christmas wedding, to be honest with you. I don't know if it was supposed to be a Christmas Eve evening or Christmas Day evening, but the whole set looked amazing, and so did Chloe. Oh my goodness. She looked better. She looked great even before she put on the wedding gown. She came downstairs at the Chancellor Mansion where everybody was congregated, and she was wearing this gorgeous silk bright red robe and bright red lipstick, and she just looked so beautiful in that. And then she went on, put on the wedding dress, and it was smashing. Just, very classic but totally modern. It was sleeveless, cut sort of in a kind of like a heart shape, I suppose, or kind of like I'm sure there's a name for it, but it kind of like almost like the top was sort of had a little bit of a bra shape around the boobs, which, by the way, made her boobs look great. Chloe's boobs were outstanding this week, and the dress was very twisty and classic, and it had this little twist up on one of the shoulders. I believe it was the right shoulder, just to give it some asymmetrical value. And then the back had this huge white bow, and she looked so great. She had, her hair was back and it was curled and then kind of pulled back loosely, and she had this gorgeous diamond hairpin in it, and she just looked wonderful in white and red lipstick. And Victoria also, as the bridesmaid, looked amazing. She had on this red dress, just bright, beautiful red, with this huge skirt, like with a petticoat underneath, a white petticoat underneath the red dress. And in the back, the red was kind of pulled up, the red fabric was kind of pulled up, and you could see the white petticoat on the underneath side. And it was really stunning. And everyone really looked wonderful. It was very, the whole wedding party, it was very solid colors. Everybody had on probably the color that made them look best. Phyllis, with her red hair, matched in a gorgeous teal dress. Avery had on a purple dress. Gloria was in a dark violet. I think Lauren had on a bright blue. Jill was in brown. I can't remember. I think Catherine was in white. Genevieve was in silver, had a nice sparkly silver jacket. And everybody just looked really, really nice. All the men had their black suits on with a red rose. Michael looked gorgeous. Love him. XOXO Michael. And just, it was so wonderful to see everybody there except Kevin. Oh, I am so annoyed. I have not been the biggest supporter of Kevin and Chloe. I think that they make really good friends. I have not really felt the romantic heat there. And it was extremely interesting because earlier in the week, Daniel sat down and had a talk with Chloe and said to her, are you sure about your feelings about Kevin? And they had just a little chat about whether or not her love for him was uppercase or lowercase love. Do you love him with capital LOVE, or do you love him with with a lowercase LOVE? Because there's no question that there is affection between Chloe and Kevin. They love each other, but is it the big love is the question. And it seems at this point, the only one who has the big love is Angelina. She, of course, another really cute moment in the week was as she's sounding really, really crappy during her singing. As soon as Kevin walks in the room, all of a sudden she sounds like an angel. So she sees Kevin and she really does seem to love him. She seems to respond to him, and she's been hating the fact that he's with Chloe this entire time. And she has created this whole scenario where he has to babysit her. And she's decided that she's going to do what she has to do to stop this wedding. So she calls up Carmine, this ex-boyfriend that Kevin is supposed to be keeping her away from, and she has him concoct this little plan. She tells Kevin that she's pregnant and that Carmine thinks that the baby is his, and then Carmine arranges this drive-by shooting thing on the way to Kevin getting to his wedding, and just really, really terrible. Oh my goodness, it all spiraled downhill after that. Angelina comes up with this story where she says, oh my God, Carmine is crazy. We just need to get out of town for a little while. And the whole time I'm thinking, this is bull. This is just bull. You do not need to get out of town. And I could see it coming from a mile away. Angelina making the argument that, well, if you want to protect Chloe, bleh, bleh. Sounds like, Kevin is sounding more and more like freaking Cain every day. But he's like, if you want to protect Chloe, then you shouldn't go anywhere near the church. And I can kind of understand that argument. Angelina has created this false scenario, which Kevin perceives as real, and he thinks that they're being shot at, and he's not going to go to the church where all of, not only Chloe, but all of his family and friends and loved ones, his mother, his brother, they're all there waiting for him. He's not going to knowingly bring danger to that situation. And I can totally respect and understand that. I think it's an annoying storyline twist in a way. Not that I was even that interested in Chloe and Kevin getting married, but just that was annoying to me. But I can understand why Kevin would want to protect his family. What I don't freaking understand is Kevin lying to Chloe. He calls her up on the cell phone, tells her that that he can't marry her, that he's having second thoughts. He lies to her, like, and leaves her at the altar. How horrifying! How embarrassing! It was such an embarrassing moment for Chloe. Everybody's at the wedding. She's ready to walk down the aisle, and he's calling her on her cell phone to break it off. And I ask you, what was the point of the lie? He could so easily have told her the truth, and everything would have been the same. He could have just said, look, I'm babysitting Angelina, and there's this situation, and I really hate it, and it sucks, and I know, and I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to be able to make it to the wedding. That's a hell of a lot better than calling Chloe and making her question the very fabric of their relationship. He did not have to tell that lie. That is so stupid. Just so dumb. But it is going to deter the Kevin and Chloe wedding. I mean, I'm sure everybody that's kind of been hoping that it wasn't going to happen, it's probably not going to happen. I cannot imagine that he's going to get back into town and she's just going to forgive him. I mean, Chloe took it really well. She was devastated, but she still hung around. Like, I would have ran out of the church, gone back home, locked myself in my bedroom. I would have probably cut the dress to pieces. I just would have cried. There's no way I would have kept hanging around. Yet, Billy is there in the foyer, sees this whole thing going down, and sees it, as an opportunity to salvage the situation, and asks Chloe in a very subtle manner if he could just, borrow her wedding. Since your wedding isn't going to be taking place, maybe I could just remarry Victoria. Is that cool with you? So Billy and Victoria, or Billy kind of surprises Victoria with this last minute sort of on the fly borrowed wedding. I think that's really weird. Chloe was totally okay with it. So understanding. My goodness, is this girl a saint at this point? Like, wow. Not only that, but she agreed to stand up for Victoria. What the hell? To just be stood up at the altar and then go back inside in front of everyone and stand there as the bridesmaid instead of the bride. Oh my God. Ugh. That is horrible. And I honestly can't really even understand why Billy and Victoria would want that. I mean, they should have just calmly let the whole thing, it sucks that it happened, that Kevin freaking left Chloe at the altar. Who would have seen that coming? But you should have just quietly dispersed all of the guests and everybody just go home and make nothing more of it. Don't stand there and now all of a sudden have Chloe feel humiliated. Now all of a sudden it's become Victoria's happy day and Chloe's standing there humiliated. I cannot believe that twist took place. I was not expecting that. I mean, and I honestly can't even believe Victoria agreed to it because, everybody dreams of having someone's leftover wedding. It was beautiful, but nonetheless, it's a wedding that didn't end up taking place and you're just going to jump in on it. Like, that's some bad karma there. Okay, well, it's time for me to head on over to my family shindig. And I hope that you guys are enjoying your Christmas and being able to spend some time with your family, whether it's a Christmas gathering or your Hanukkah gathering or Kwanzaa or whatever, or nothing, whatever it is you celebrate. I hope that you are celebrating and having a good time. I mean, the holidays, boy, it's either a really hard time or it's a really special time. And usually it's not a whole lot in between, but I really do wish magic and love for all of you, and I really appreciate all of your participation with me in my little community here throughout the year and always. It means a lot to me every time I hear from you. Whether we agree or don't agree, it doesn't even matter. The fact that you take the time to talk to me really means something to me. YNR, again, has been a part of my life for 16 years, actually, and it's something that seems silly, it seems stupid to get all crazy about a TV show or to care about a TV show, especially when there's so many real problems. And, Christmas time and the holidays really puts that into perspective. But more than anything, I do believe that what we're doing here is making connections with each other. It's not just a show, it's about emotions, it's about life, and it's about talking things through. And, just commenting on these little scenarios sometimes helps me to resolve and know how I feel about things, what my opinions are about things, where I stand on things, and the fact that you guys jump in and maybe are working through some things along with the show too really means a lot to me. So thanks again. Thanks for everything you've given me this year. I'm totally looking forward to a whole nother year of chatting about the show. That's definitely my goal, and I'm going to make it happen. So everybody, Merry Christmas. Happy everything. I love you so much, and I'll be back next week again to chat with you. So I'll see you then. Okay, guys.